გამოსალეთი არის კიდე გამოვიდეთ სადგან ჩვენ რას ხალხ
Yeah.
It makes it more expressive. Yeah, especially if it's young.
For this one, and he says that it's full
პირიქით პროთიკოს ახალი ბილოგაცია ესეც როგორთიმა სანამ ბოჩი ჩაასხო მანამდე მაქსიმალურად უნდა დაიწვა ჟანგბადის გამო
Oh, brand partners? No.
as a company.
Oh, this is separate.
Yeah, Kinsmara, which is for these two are 100 burgers.
These kind of burger.
200, 150. 5 hectares.
So most of the fruit is. So it seems all of the production of the Oreo, it's all better.
No, yeah.
No, it was.
We are here this week in Georgia with a group of sommeliers from the U.S. market, from some of the top restaurants in the U.S. market, because we are trying to introduce them also to the exciting wine environment that's happening in Georgia right now. Already in this year, exports have been up 43% from last year to the U.S. market. So we just want to continue introducing the trade to all the producers here in the market. We are bringing importers and media. This group in particular is sommeliers from Chicago, St. Louis, and New York City. And they have just had an amazing week so far, learning about the diversity of the grapes from Georgia and the producers. So we just look forward to the rest of the week, and we have a waiting list of other sommeliers from the U.S. market who are really interested in exploring and understanding what is happening in Georgia right now.
We have a big wine list, 1,500 references, and 30 of them are Georgian wines. And what always excited me about the opportunity to come to Georgia for the first time, having worked a little bit with those wines and having tasted them, and what really for me was exciting, was meaningful, was the window they provided onto sort of the birth of winemaking and winemaking's history. You know, that you go back to the oldest archaeological evidence we have for winemaking, and it looks kind of like what people in Georgia are still doing today. And of course, they're doing much more than that. They're experimenting and they're changing, but it's that sort of idea that that really inspired me to come on this trip. And then I think in addition to that, what I've learned or what I've started to take away or maybe started to understand that's been really interesting is moving across the country and seeing from starting in Tbilisi, but going all the way to Imерეთში and then coming all the way back here to Kasheti and seeing the range and the diversity in terms of regionality and in terms of being able to stand in a place and feel that the sun here and the way the rain is and the way the air feels and the grape varieties being different and the styles of wine being different and the lightness and the freshness of the Western wines and the intensity and power and concentration and structure of the Eastern wines, and sort of wrapping my head around that that range. And I think that's sort of been a key for me in sort of understanding or starting to understand Georgian wine, not just as a single thing, not just as Georgian wine, but as a whole spectrum of different sort of possibilities and flavors. And you know, even though I got to taste 30 wines on a New York wine list from Georgia, I think it's more than many places. And yet I come here and I've tasted so many grape varieties I had never tasted before, and so many sides to Georgian wine that I never got to. Ala Dasturi, for example, in Imерეთში was like, I could not believe what I was tasting. I had never had anything like it, not from Georgia and not really from anywhere. As an example, and there have been so many other experiences like that. And of course, it's been that, and it's been the generosity of the people and the people working in the vineyards and making the wines to show me these things, and to take me across the country, and that's really been special.
Hi, my name is Andrei Ivanov. I represent Reed's American Table Restaurant in St. Louis, Missouri, in the United States. And this is my first visit to Georgia, even though it has been on my proverbial bucket list for a very, very long time. I'm originally from Russia, and so growing up, I definitely heard the mystique and the prestige of Georgian wine. And having been a sommelier now for 8 years, I have been able to work with Georgian wines, but to come here and to really see the incredible nature and the incredible beauty of the country, and to be able to experience the warmth and the genuine just love that people have here for other people, for life itself, for food, for wine. This has been really, truly a once-in-a-lifetime kind of an experience for me. I think the biggest thing I took away from, or I am taking away from it, is the diversity of different styles of wines that Georgia produces. And coming from a background that really only thought of Saperavi and Rkatsiteli and the wines made in the Kахети tradition, it was a really big pleasure to get out to Იმერეთში and to Სამეგრელოში to see how Western Georgia produces wines, because one of the big important things I try to take away from any region I visit is how to be a good ambassador for that region. And I feel that wines from Western Georgia could also be a really good introduction to people that don't know about kvevi aging, people that don't know necessarily about skin contact, but like to try something different and new. And I think finding varieties or discovering varieties like Tsitska or Aladasturi or the Ojaleshi, and I'm still trying to learn them all. I think has been a huge opportunity for myself, and I will definitely try to really both introduce and really try to explain why those grapes are important, and then to come here to Kахети and to see Signagi, which is, I think, was one of the most beautiful places I've ever been, is really kind of a dream come true, and it's everything that I could have wanted and more. And so I just really want to thank everybody that allowed me to be here, and that I will be back, and that I look forward to selling a lot of Georgian wine when we get home.
Hi, my name is Arthur Hung. I'm the sommelier and beverage director of a Michelin star restaurant in Chicago named Sepia, and we just opened a new restaurant called Proxy as well, so I manage the beverage program there.
About the trip, about Georgian wines.
Perfect. I think that for me, what makes Georgian wine so attractive is actually the kvevi winemaking process. I think that's something that's so different than the typical Western winemaking techniques. And then one of my focus coming on this trip is to really get learning about the technique itself. And I've so there's a very ancient way of winemaking, but the style of wine kind of went away and then came back, and throughout this revitalizations. And then what I learned so far is that there is a very intricacies of each details that's paid to cleaning the kvevi, maintaining the integrity of the Murani's, and then really keep it as healthy as possible, which is something that I don't really have the concept before, and I find them very intriguing and make the sort of whole winemaking process that much more interesting. And on top of that, so the whole from at least my previous experience of the Georgian wine, it's always about skin contact. But after the past several days, I learned that there's a lot of differences of details in terms of skin contact. For instance, on the Western Georgias, where the wines are much lighter, the wines are much more refreshing. They tend to use partial skins, maybe not the stems. But when we compare to the Eastern Georgian wines, are much more hardier. A lot of times the stems and skins are fully incorporated. So there's various degrees of skin contact make this up. There's a lot of finesse just within that category itself, and on top of that, sort of the competitors. We've been seeing winemakers are kind of incorporating the more the ancient kvevi technologies, and after that, as opposed to aging it in the bottle or in the kvevi itself, but also transferring that to barrel. So combinations of more of a contemporary winemaking technique and incorporate that into a sort of Georgian historical context. I find them very intriguing and very fascinating as well.